In a small village named Umuaja, there lived a young hunter named Obina. He was known across the village as one of the most skilled hunters around. Every day, Obina would take his hunting spear and bow and arrows out into the thick forest near the village to hunt antelope, bush pigs, and other animals to feed his family. The forest was very dense with tall mahogany trees and thick underbrush, making it easy for Obina to sneak up on his prey. One hot afternoon, Obina was out hunting as usual. He had been tracking a large antelope for over an hour through the humid forest. Just as he pulled back his bowstring to shoot, he heard a blood-curdling scream come from deep in the forest. This startled the antelope, and it bounded away. Obina was angry that he had lost his kill, but that scream sounded human. He slung his bow over his shoulder and ran toward the screaming sound. As he got closer, the screaming turned into wailing and crying. Obina burst into a small clearing and saw a young woman kneeling on the ground sobbing, with a dead man lying next to her. The man's throat had been torn open and blood soaked his shredded clothes. Obina ran over to the woman shouting, "What happened here? Are you all right? Who did this?" The woman looked up at Obina with eyes filled with horror and screamed, "It was a monster! A horrible beast from the tales of my childhood. It moved so fast, before we even knew it was there. It ripped my brother's throat with its huge fangs and roared as it feasted on his flesh. I've never been more scared in my life. We need to run before it comes back." Obina helped the woman to her feet. "Come, let's get you back to the village where you'll be safe. My fellow hunters and I will come back and kill this beast." They ran through the forest toward Umuaja. When they arrived at the village, Obina brought the woman to the village elder and retold what she saw. The elder's face dropped to a somber stare. "This is very bad. From your description, it sounds like you saw an ikek. These are extremely rare, dangerous forest demons from our ancestral stories that kill and eat humans. It seems one has made the forest near Umuaja its new hunting grounds." The woman wailed loudly, "It will slaughter us all if it is not stopped. Why has an ekek come to plague our village?" The elder replied, "These beasts are said to be summoned by evil witchcraft. Someone in or near Umuaja has brought this horror upon us through black magic." The villagers gasped and murmured nervously to each other. Obina stepped forward and announced loudly to everyone, "I swear I will gather our best hunters, and we will hunt down and kill this ekek, so it does not harm anyone else in Umuaja." All the villagers cheered, while the elder and the young woman blessed him for his bravery. Early the next morning, Obina gathered a hunting party of the strongest and most skilled men in the village. They sharpened their spears, grabbed torches, and headed into the forest toward the area the ekek was last seen. As they trekked through the trees and brush, they found scattered remains of other victims the demon had fed on. But after hours of searching, they could not pick up its trail again. Disappointed, they returned to the village at dusk. But as the first few men emerged from the forest, they heard monstrous roaring and commotion coming from Umuaja. They ran back and were horrified to see the ikek rampaging through the village, moving with lightning speed and ripping people apart with its 3-inch fangs and claws. Several brave men tried to fight it with spears and arrows, but the demon beast was too fast and powerful. It swatted the weapons away like twigs and tore the men to shreds within seconds. Obina screamed for everyone to get to shelter while he and his hunters lit their torches and carefully approached the ekek. The beast wheeled around and let out an ear-splitting roar at the men. It then grabbed a wailing child who had become separated from his family and leapt back into the dark forest. The child's screams echoes after it until abruptly cutting off. Obina was enraged. "We're going after it tonight and not returning until we've sent that monster back to hell where it belongs." The shaken but determined hunting party followed Obina into the inky forest, their way lit only by flickering torches. For hours they searched, following a trail of scattered clothes, bones and blood left by the ekek and its prey. Obina led them deep into a part of the forest no villager dared go, filled with ancient giant trees that blocked out the moonlight. Strange bird calls and animal noises filled the silence, making the hunters jittery. Finally, they came upon the mouth of an earthen cave covered in thorny vines. From deep inside They could hear crunching and the echoes of their fellow villagers' bones being gnawed and sucked on by the demon beast. Obina signaled his men to fan out around the cave mouth, surrounding it with their torch fire. On Obina's shout, they charged into the cave with their spears thrust forward. The inky darkness swallowed them up as they moved further in. They were met by the guttural sounds of the feasting Ikek. As they drew closer, their torches reflected off its red eyes. In a flash, the beast severed the head of the man closest to it with a swipe of its claws. The headless body dropped with a thud. Seeing their comrade die threw the men into a rage. Obina leapt forward, barely dodging a slash of the Ekek's claws, and drove his spear into the beast's thigh while screaming, "Die, demon!" This stunned the Ekek just long enough for the other men to begin stabbing it repeatedly with their spears. Dark blood erupted from its hideous body with each puncture, soaking the cave floor. But this only further enraged the monster. It thrashed and clawed wildly, tearing one man's stomach open. Entrails spilled out as he crumpled. While the beast was distracted killing the man, Obina saw his chance and drove his spear into the Ekek's neck with all his might. The spear tip sunk deep into flesh, and the demon let out an unearthly roar. Its lifeless body collapsed atop the corpses it was feasting on. The few surviving men let out weary cheers between gasps for air and winces from their injuries, then made the somber trek back to village carrying their slain comrades. Word of their victory spread quickly, and all the villagers ran out to meet them. The elder praised their bravery in saving Umuaja. A great burial was held for the Ekek's victims. Obina personally carried the body of the child recovered from the cave to his weeping family. Though still mourning their losses, the village threw a magnificent celebration feast that went long into the night to honor Obina and his party for ridding them of the horror of the Ekek. During the feast, as the villagers drank palm wine and danced around fire pits, Obina spotted a strange elderly woman staring at him from just outside the torchlight. Making eye contact with him, she simply raised her hand and snapped her fingers, then cackled with laughter and disappeared into the dark. Hello, my amazing Pic Stories community. I cannot thank you enough for sticking with our channel through thick and thin. Your constant support means the world. I'm thrilled to let you know that Pic Stories is now officially back online and better than ever. After some challenging times behind the scenes, we are recharged and overflowing with fresh ideas for visually stunning video stories. Thanks to your patience and encouragement, we've upgraded our animation tools to take the artwork and cinematography to new levels. Get ready for our most ambitious videos yet. As a small token of appreciation, I have a little subscriber gift prepared that will be sent out soon. Keep an eye on your inboxes. Also, to celebrate our full-time return, I'll be posting daily videos over the next 2 weeks. A new visual adventure awaits you every 24 hours. So make sure to smash those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Feel free to share any story ideas or requests in the comments. Hearing your thoughts means so much and inspires us daily. Thanks again for believing in Pic Stories. Let the next animated chapter unfold.